47 millimeters, and this is 53 millimeters. How about that? That is it. That is exactly what either one of these are. Today we're going to open up SketchUp and model Jack's trim rack. The goal here is to create a set of plans that you can go to the Paul Combs store, purchase, and then download, and you can build this for yourself. I'm working with Jack McGee on this, so he gets a piece of the action. Everyone that sells, he will automatically get paid for that. We've set it up so it's all automatic, and just each time the button is clicked and somebody purchases, Jack gets paid. We're excited to be able to do that. This is the first time. All the other plans have been all my designs, all my creations. And when Jack sent this, actually when Jack gave this to me, we didn't even talk about plans. Jack came by, contacted me. He's one of the Smart Woodshop fam. He contacted me and said, hey, I want to come by and show you my trailer and a couple things, and I got something for you. And so he came by and we talked for a bit. Really wonderful young man. I love to see his attitude, his energy. He's the kind of person you'd want working on your house doing your stuff. Anyway, he said, I have a gift for you, and he opened his trailer up and he gave me a set of these racks, which I have already put to use here at the Florida Fixer. I wish I had these 20 years ago. If you'd like to get any of the Smart designs, the Smart Woodshop itself, any of the workbenches, or the brand new Smart McGee trim rack, you can go to the link in the description of this video down below. You can download the plans. You purchase them almost instantaneously. Within a matter of minutes, you'll get an email from us, automatic, come straight to the email that you put in. Click on the link, scroll down, click on the link, and it'll take you, and you can download the plan or plans if you bought a package. Now, we're going to go in and design these in SketchUp, but at the time you're watching this video, you can already go and buy the plans. They're done. They're not only done, but they've been built. So I've tested the plans. I've come back to SketchUp, adjusted the model, gone into layout, added dimensions, added text, descriptions, all of that. So they're ready right now. Now, how can I say that when we haven't even designed them yet? Because I'm not going to release this video until all of that is done. So the exciting thing is, watch this, learn about SketchUp, learn how SketchUp can help you see how these are put together. Let's start in SketchUp. We don't have a lot of material. We've got plywood. We've got 18 millimeter plywood, and that's it. So we're going to start with a piece, and we're going to a rectangle, just the way we would in the shop. And then we're going to figure out where to cut it. So we're going to do all of that. We're going to actually build this just kind of like the way we would do it in the shop, which is what I love about modeling. I get to prototype and test things out in the digital world. R for the rectangle key, and it'll snap into that corner. I'm going to snap it, drag up, and so I've got a rectangle, and I'm going to type in 400, comma, 1200, enter. So now I've got my 400 millimeters by 1200 millimeters. I'm going to double click so everything is selected, right click, and I'm going to make a component, and I'm going to call it rack. At this point, you can see that it's just flat. It's 18 millimeter like the plywood. So what I would come in and do is I have to go into that group or into that component, and I'm going to hit the P key for push pull, and I'd pull it up and go 18. And now it's exactly what I'm going to be working with in the shop. But I'm not going to do that right now. We're going to back up so we have just the flat surface. And the reason for that is I'm going to be cutting it and making all of this detail. And if I do it on the 3D, then I've got to push and pull each one. Whereas if I do it just on the skin or the flat surface, get all of this dimensioning done exactly how I want it, because sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you're having to, especially when you don't have the luxury of having it here to measure and you're testing things out, you want to move things, and now you're having to move the whole 3D thing, the X, Y, and Z. If I stay flat, which is the skin, I can do a lot of adjustment to it, and then once I've got it how I want it, then I can make it 18 millimeters. This is the highest point, so I'm going to pick one of these upper corners on the material, and I'm going to make that angled line. So I'm going to put a couple of helps on that aren't part of the model, but they're references. And if I click over here to this little tape measure, or I hit the T key, if you hover over any of the tools, they'll give you their shortcut. And you'll find that if you're modeling using SketchUp, as you get more proficient at it, you want to use keystrokes, the shortcuts, because they will save you a lot of time. You're working away. You get your mouse and that, and going over to a menu just slows you down. So I'm going to hit the T key, and I'm going to come over and just, it doesn't matter which edge I go on. I'm just going to grab an edge, and you see it gives me a dotted line. If I slide over this top one or the bottom one, it doesn't matter. You can see that I get to a certain point and it snaps. That snapping is a reference. It knows where the dead center is. It's 200 millimeters. I could type in 200, or I can just go to that reference. So I'll type in 200, and there it is. So that now is dead center. Now it's time to do these angles. This whole thing is going to be made up of this angles, and it's the same angle coming to the middle on both sides. So how do we get that? Well, we're going to use a protractor, just the way we do out in the shop. There's a protractor here. If you hover over it, you'll see that it doesn't have a keyboard shortcut. Well, I'm going to come over and I'm going to let it snap right into that corner. I'm going to click once, and then I'm going to come in the direction. I could come down this way and work with different numbers, but I'm going to come straight across here, and I'm going to click once. I'm just setting the reference point. We haven't drawn any lines or done anything. We're going to be at 10 degrees. So I'm going to come down, I'm just going to come down this direction, click, and I'm going to type in 10. And if you look in that right-hand angle box, you can see that that is 10. There's a couple of other dimensions that would help, and that is this point right here. I'm going to call this the spine, and I know the thing is going to be 100 millimeters wide, so half of that is 50. So I'm just going to click there, and I'm going to come this way, and I'm in, you can see that the line is red, so I know I'm going in the proper direction. If you look at our XYZ axis, we've got green, red, and blue is up. So I'm in the red, come this way, click, and then type in 50. I don't have to put millimeters because that's the default. 50, and you can see it remembers the last one. It kind of snaps. It goes, oh, you did 50 before. Maybe you want to do 50 again. Or I can come over and grab the line I put on and come all the way over, click, and hit 100. Now we have these reference lines, and we want to keep making those, and I'm going to sort of build the model out with these. This angle is the same all the way down, and it's convenient. The spacing is the same as well. So 50 millimeters is how wide the arm is, and 50 millimeters is how wide the spacing is. So all I need to do at this point is come in, click on that reference line, hit the M key for move, click on that, come down that line. You can see that it's moving in the green direction. You can actually see the green on the model. So again, as you use SketchUp more and more, you're going to start to find out this inferencing and color direction and all of that makes it so easy to get it right. You can see I've moved the line. I don't want to move the line. I want to copy it. So the next thing I do, so I'm moving, you can see the line is moved down here. I'm going to hit the Option key, and you can see it now drop to the original one back where it was, and now I'm moving a copy. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to type in 50, enter, and so now you can see that I have one 50 millimeters down. I haven't done anything else. I've just set it there. Now I'm going to hit the X, and let's go 20. I've just typed in X20. You can see that in the box, and hit enter. So through the magic of SketchUp, you can see that it's drawn all those lines I need, but I think I might need a few more. So I'm at X20, I haven't done anything else. I'm gonna try X25. So that's a few too many. It doesn't matter, I can erase some, but might as well dial it in a little closer. It looks like, oh, that was 25. Let's just go X23. That looks about right. Tape, grab one here and come down. And I'm going to type in 50. Let's see where that intersects. Okay, so if that's right, let me go ahead and temporarily erase this, draw this in. So I'm going to take my line tool, I'm going to click there, click there, click there. And again, it's easy to go backwards, so this is a fun thing. You can't do this in the shop. If you cut your wood, you got to make another one. But we can put the wood back in the model. Okay, so are we looking? Is that, what do you think? I think we're there. We got it. Okay, so next, I want to have that angle spaced 50 millimeters, just like we did on that side, with the offset. So you can see this one's got the arm and this one has the space. This will be the arm and this will be the space. So I'm going to come over here. I'm closing the component. I'm going to click on the reference that I want. I'm going to hit the M tool for move and tap the option key. It gives me a little plus, and I'm going to click right there, and I'm going to come down this, right down the green line, and I'm going to type in 50. And then that looks good. I'm going to hit X24. We're looking good. I got a few extra, but we'll erase those in a little bit. I'm going to start right there, and I'm going to come to this point, click, come down and click, come over and click. And then all I have to do here is this one line that makes out that little rectangle, and the whole thing is gone. So let's just, to make sure we're doing this right before we go all the way down, we're going to open back up. We're going to hit the L key for line. We're going to click. You see how that intersect is there, and it gives a little red X. You're not going to be in the wrong spot. If you've laid out those guidelines, those reference lines, that's where you're going to start your drawing. So we'll click, and we'll click there. Again, the little red line, the intersection, and the going in the green direction, intersection, and intersection. And then you can see how it divides it up. It gives you a visual that you've broken up that surface. Hit that line and delete. All right, we are good to go. So what I'm going to do now is just speed this up. There we've got our cutouts. I'm going to clean this up so we can see what we got. I'm going to hit Edit, Delete Guides, and I'm going to hit File, Save. I got an auto save going on too, but I'll force a save. Now I want to create this slot here. This slot is for the foot or the base. This is how it goes together. Really slick, simple, very sturdy. For rectangle, just drop it. Any one of these references, I can click anywhere, but I'll just click there, come across ways to there, and then all I have to do is erase this one line, and there we go. Hit the R key for rectangle. I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'll go that way this time, and I'm going to it to be 600, comma, and 150. Right click, I'm going to make it component, and we're going to call the component base. There's another thing I'm going to do, and I need to do it before I make my template. So I'm going to come over and delete this one. We'll make another copy later of both of these. Key tool to get that guideline. And I'm going to come up, just up that green direction, 10 millimeters. And then I'm going to come in from the edge, both edges, down the red direction, and I'm going to do 30. This isn't super critical. I've got to pick a dimension. I'm going to do the same thing here, 30. You can see that memory. See how it jumped to 30? That's another thing that speeds up your modeling. The R key for rectangle, I'm going to just grab this corner right here, and I'm going to go all the way across to here, diagonally till it locks there, and then all I have to do is click on that one bottom line, delete, and there we go. So I've created two 30mm feet. Now I want to do the same thing on this. I want to move, hit the Option key, I got my little plus. I'm just going to drop a copy over here, and then I'm going to explode, and then it's still already selected, so while I'm here, I'm going to right click, I'm going to make a component. It's a new component. Now what I can do, just for a visual on this, let's go ahead and make these 18 mil. So we're going to go there. I've gone into the component, hit the P key. I'm going to just come up and I'm going to type in 18, and that's done. You can see that the template hasn't changed, still flat. That's important. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing, push pull. I'm going to type in 18. There, we're done. So now I want to stand it up. How does this thing work? So we're going to go here. I just selected it. I'm going to hit the move key, and you can see these little X's. You get on any one of those X's. There's one on the top, one on the bottom. Click it, and then you can rotate, and you'll see in the bottom there the angle 90. And let's say I want to do 16-foot good, so I'm going to make these. See, I'm moving it, and I'm going to hit that Option key, and now I'm copying it. I'm going to come over, and let's set them 10 feet apart. And that way, if I'm, oh, see that I hit 10, and it's assumed millimeter. So you can see the 10 at the bottom. I'm going to type it again, 10 feet, the 10-foot mark. Now it's 10 feet. So you can see even in metric, I could have done that in a metric number, but again, that shows my deficiency. I still think in feet and inches. It's going to be what you're going to build, because you want to build one of these. Take your time, and then you can build as many of these as you want. So we build one of these and one of these. Work's done. The rest of it's just taking a router and putting the template on the plywood and making another one, another one, another one. Save the template. You can make them in perpetuity. On it all, I've got it the way we're going to do it, but now I got to draw the template. That's a lot of work. So what I know is that the bushing, this is a bushing, and this is the bit. This is how you're going to make it. And the bit is 1/8 of an inch smaller than the bushing. So that means that if I make a template the same size as the end model, then it's going to leave a 1/16 on all edges. So that means in here, this would be 1/8 of an inch narrower, and the arm would be 1/8 of an inch wider. We don't want that. So seems like a lot of math, but it's really kind of easy. So if it's 1/8 of an inch, half of it's 1/16. If it's 3 millimeters, it's 1.5 millimeters. So because we're in millimeters here, I'm going to set this up so that I'm accounting for 1.5 millimeters. Well, how do I do that? That means that these are going to grow, so I need to shrink them. And these are going to shrink, so I need to grow them. How? That sounds hard. No, not really. Let's just do this. Let's go into the component. This is the template, so there's only one. I'm only modifying this. I'm not modifying the rack itself because that's a different component. So I'm going to come in here. I'm in it. The whole thing's selected. And then I'm going to grab a little tool called an offset tool. It's an F. Just type in F. I'm just going to grab that, move it in, and I'm going to type 1.5. Boom. Now you can see that little line. That's what I want. I don't want the outside. The outside one is the one that is exactly the size of the model. So we come in here, and the area now that's selected there is the area we want. So we're going to go and now you can see if I take the actual dimension, the tape measure itself, and I check this, 71 millimeters. This is 47 millimeters, and this is 53 millimeters. How about that? That is it. That is exactly what either one of these are. If you look at it and think about it, we want this to be 50 millimeters, and we want this to be 50 millimeters. So as we run this bushing around that line, around here, it's going to leave 1.5 millimeters. It's going to leave 1.5 millimeters. It's going to leave 1.5 millimeters. Well, 1.5 millimeters plus 1.5 millimeters, 3 millimeters, added to 47 is 50. And the same thing's going to happen with the 53. It's going to leave that 1.5 millimeters. It's going to leave that 1.5 millimeters. So it's going to make the opening smaller by 3 millimeters. So it's going to be 50. So it's going to be 50, 50, 50, 50. It's so simple. Okay, so that is it in the model. Again, I have a lot more work to do here. When I'm all done, there'll be tabs, and it will be a lot of detail, and then I'll take it over to layout and do all of that. So again, if you're seeing this video, it's already done. I've already built them, tested the plans, found the errors, which I guarantee you there are errors, and I've come back and I've addressed those errors and made the corrections. So the plan that's available right now to you has been tested. And again, I want to thank Jack for bringing this to me and for working together. I hope it's a great success in taking somebody else's design into the Smart fold and providing it to the rest of the Smart Woodshop fam. And who knows, maybe it'll be a thing. Maybe there'll be other ideas that come that are provided, we look at, maybe we partner on. We'll see. We're going to start with this one right now and see how it goes. Mahalo for hanging out with me in the Smart Woodshop. If you've hung out this long, here's a little bonus for you. This is the finished model. This is what it looks like. So you were there when we drew the whole thing. So there it is, our 10-foot spacing. I have created some 10-foot 6-inch base molding so we can see how it looks. That's the cover page. There's the model. There is our material layout. This is the actual rack, 2 of them, a pair of them. And then this is the template. So we got our 18 mil ply and our 12 millimeter ply. Then I have, this is separated out. These different tabs are used in layout to do different things. So this is the cut list. So over in layout, this one has, this is the one that's the go-to. This has the dimensions on it. Actually, that one does have the dimensions on it, but I tell you to jump over to this one. And this is the template, the one that's shrunk down in size by 3 millimeters. It has all the dimensions on it. This one's full of detail. This is the one where you build your 2 templates. And then there's another page. It's exactly this, but instead of being metric, it's imperial. So those that just don't want to deal with metric, it's going to be there for you as well. So they're there for you. I hope you enjoyed the bonus. Thanks for hanging around. Mahalo.